Keeping up with maintenance can be extremely difficult as your Turo and car sharing fleet grows. But maintenance is one of the most crucial aspects of growing and scaling a car sharing fleet. And so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 tips that my team and I have for keeping our Turo cars on the road longer and how to decrease our overall issues. But first, I do have my course, the Car Sharing Master Class, which teaches you everything you need to know about starting and scaling a car sharing fleet with the exact same business model that I use. In the course, we go over many of the topics that we'll be addressing in this video, but in significantly more depth. And so if you find this video helpful but you want to dive in deeper, I highly encourage you to check out the Car Sharing Masterclass. You can use the code OFFER100 to get $100 off. First is to buy reliable cars. Now, my business model on Turo is to buy cheap cars, and I feel as though people oftentimes think that if you're looking for a cheap car, you just want to buy the lowest price possible. But this could not be further from the truth. And in order to have an efficient Turo fleet, you need to find the perfect balance between cheap and reliable. And unfortunately, this means that you will most likely have to take a bunch of different cars out of your pool of consideration, things like BMWs, Audis, Nissans, Mitsubishis. It may also mean that you can buy some models from one automaker but not other models, like buying a 2012 Ford Focus but not a newer one. Choosing the right car is more important than anything when it comes to Turo. Next is to have a proper plan in place when it comes to tracking maintenance. Whether it be a spreadsheet, a tracking software, or even just using your telematics provider, which oftentimes does include a built-in maintenance tracker, it doesn't matter how you do it, but figuring out a way how to track the maintenance that has been done, the maintenance that needs to be done, repairs, miscellaneous things, figuring out a way to track these and be notified about these types of items frequently, it is going to be a huge game changer. Number 3 is to get corporate accounts set up for all of the different shops and parts stores that you use for your business. Having an LLC and a corporate account can give you access to a slew of discounts, and it's completely free to set up, and in most cases, it's very, very easy. Whether you do your own work or if you have a shop do your work, setting up corporate accounts with part suppliers, dealerships, shops, it'll go a very long way. Number 4 is to invest in the right tools. Investing in the right tools is probably one of the first things that I recommend new Turo hosts doing. Now, the exact tools will depend on your fleet. And of course, in addition to investing in tools, you will want to invest in cleaning supplies, but that's for another video. For my fleet, since my team does most of the work in-house, we have nearly every tool you could need, from quick jacks to an air compressor and air tools, forks, brake tools. I don't even know everything we have. But keep in mind that this is over a decade worth of accumulating tools, because even before I started my Turo fleet, my husband has always been a car guy, so we have always had car tools. When you're first starting out, you don't need to get anything. You don't even need to get the best stuff, but having some basic tools at your disposal, it'll go a long way. A code scanner is a great tool to have. For a long time, we used a cheap one on Amazon. You can find a link to it in the description below. Ratchets and screwdrivers, trim tools, these are all things that are good and really affordable things to have. But as you do more work on your cars, you would of course want to invest in more and better tools. Track everything involving maintenance and repairs with your cars, not only when it comes to the expense of it, but also the downtime of the cars as well. First, you want to track your repair expenses for tax reasons. Repairs on the Turo fleet can get expensive quick, so you want to have a mechanism for tracking that for tax purposes. Not only for tax reasons when it comes to deductions, but at the end of the day, repairs and maintenance is a huge factor when it comes to determining the profitability of your car. And if you're not tracking these things, well, then you don't know if you're profitable or not. But on top of this, you should also be tracking how often and how long cars are out of commission for repairs and maintenance. This can be for your own knowledge so that you can identify weak spots in your own operation, but it can also be to help you identify which cars are creating problems. I think as a Turo fleet grows, it can be really easy to forget how long a car has been out for, because you're in the weeds, you're cleaning cars, working on cars, and time goes by quick. And I know that in the past with our fleet, there have been times where we've had a car that has been down for a repair, and before we know it, the car has been sitting for a month. And so to have a mechanism in place to allow for you to track that easily and to look back on your data and be like, wow, this car has actually been out for a very long time. We need to get that to a shop. Or alternatively, okay, wow, this car is running into a lot of issues frequently. We either need to get that addressed, or you should probably just sell that car altogether. Number 6 is preventative maintenance. This is absolutely huge, and to be honest, I think that this is probably the biggest factor when it comes to why my Turo fleet has such high utilization and why my cars stay on the road for so long. My team is incredibly efficient when it comes to identifying preventative maintenance and taking care and addressing these maintenance issues before they really become a problem. Preventative maintenance is very tricky because it's hard to find and identify a problem before it really becomes a problem. But if you work on perfecting this skill, it'll no doubt result in higher utilization for your fleet. Number 7 is create a network of trusted shops and use them when needed. I have a network of shops and professionals that my team and I use, and it's a network that we've worked hard to build relationships with, but these are also shops that we trust, and knowing when to use them allows us to keep our cars well maintained and keep them on the road longer and more frequently. An example of when we would use a shop versus when we would do a repair ourselves is if, for example, there is a repair that really needs a lift and we don't have a lift, so taking it to a shop would make a lot of sense in this scenario. Another example is an issue that we currently have with our Mercedes C250. My husband was going to do the repair on this car, but he realized that he may not have the time in the next week to dive into it, so instead of keeping the car sitting for another 7 to 10 days, we'll just take it to the shop and get it fixed immediately. Having good shops and knowing when to use them, it's important. On the same note is dig into all of your different options when it comes to part suppliers and also know when to use them as well. OEM parts, dealership, carparts.com, eBay, junkyards, third-party vendors. There are hundreds of ways to buy parts online and in person, and all of them have a utility, and some vendors are better than others in certain situations. But know how to find good parts, a variety of parts, and at good prices. Number 9 is get to know your cars. Now, I don't work on my own cars, but my team does. And while I know the basics of vehicle repairs, I am absolutely not a mechanic. Like, I'm sure many of you watching this channel aren't either. You don't have to know how to work on your cars to do well with Turo, but I do think that you should know your way around a car. Knowing when something sounds or feels strange, knowing when the car is running a bit rough, or even knowing what a sound or feeling could potentially be, and being able to relay that to a shop. This will save you so much money moving forward because it'll cut down on the diagnostic cost and time, and it'll just make you a more educated car owner. Last but not least, and this is arguably one of the most important ones, and that is to do a thorough PPI or pre-purchase inspection. I talk about this a lot. A Turo deal is won or lost long before you list the car on Turo, and it actually all is determined whenever you buy the car. And this comes down to not only buying the car at the right price, but also buying the car in the right condition, knowing when a car has hidden lingering issues. This is crucial to ensure that you avoid cars that are plagued with problems, and you don't buy a car that's going to cause you major headaches later on down the road. I truly cannot tell you how many times a thorough PPI has saved us thousands. If you're interested in checking out any of the resources that I've alluded to in this video, like different vendors, different parts, different things that we use, then I do have a handful of links down in the description below. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I also have my course, the Car Sharing Master Class. In the course, we go over all of these topics and more in so much more depth, and you can use the code OFFER100 to get $100 off. Like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.